today we are going to discuss about the little bit more about the SAP layers, versions, some other stuff we are going to discuss. So why? Because these are the basics actually. So we should carry on. Why? Because I don't see many people, but we should continue here. So let's discuss about the layers in the SAP. So layers, SAP layers. It's very important. These basics are very important. Yeah, these basics are very important to discuss about the other topics in the in the SAP basis side. So layers in the SAP. So SAP. So if I talk about the SAP versions and the layers, so before that SAP was founded in 5 ex-service IBM people in 1972. Okay, if I talk about the little bit about the history about the SAP was founded in 5 ex-service IBM people in 1970 to 72. In between 1970 to 72, in between, so they have released this SAP product, right? SAP means system applications, systems and applications and system application products in business data processing. So in your business, if you want to process your data, you need one system, you need application, SAP application, you need product, ERP product. So in your business, you want to process your data. Suppose if you take the DMart, so DMart is required the systems, products, software to process their business. Business means the products in the DMart shopping mall. So how many sales to goods, all these things. So all these things, the software can be managed, right? So software can be managed. So without software, the manual entry is not at all possible, right? So it may take time and it's not the, so it may be some manual mistakes as well. So software, if you use the software, it will be easy to process your business data from one system to one business to other business, and so this one, right? Just abbreviation of the SAP means system application and product in business data processing. In 1972, the first they have released the first product is called the first SAP product they have released. First they have renamed their architecture is called the RF. So RF they have named it. That is called the real time financial. So real time financials, real-time financials. Okay, real-time financials. So that is what they have named it as the in 1972, right? So SAP, since that time onwards, SAP has many versions they have released to better functionalities of the previous one. So they have released the many versions they have released it. So if I talk about the different versions, if I talk about the different versions in SAP, so after that they have released the R1 real-time tier 1 architecture, real-time tier 1 architecture. This was released in the 1972. They have released 1973. Yeah, 1973 they have released it. So real-time, tier 1 architecture. So tier 1 architecture means, let me write it here. Tier 1 architecture. So before I go, what is mean by architecture means, as I told, SAP is the 3-tier architecture, right? 3-tier architecture, which means presentation layer, application layer, DB layer. These are the 3-tier architecture. SAP is the 3 layers architecture. 3 layers architecture. There are 3 layers. One is the presentation. So layer. SAP is the 3-layer architecture. Presentation layer and application layer and So DB layer. So which means database layer. DB layer. SAP is the three-tier architecture, right? So in R1 means real-time tier one architecture is just first product of the SAP software. First product of the SAP software. Here R1 means first product. SAP R1 is the first product. Here R1 means real. R stands for real-time data processing. Real-time data processing. Real-time data processing. So in one tier architecture, one means one tier. R1 means so real-time data processing. In one tier means all all three layers in one server. All three layers in one server. All three layers in one server. So these are the three layers. All these three layers in the one server. It's not in the single. So if you take one server, all three presentation layer, application layer, DB layer in the three layers. So the time for their finance systems, all three layers in the one system, one server, it's critical. Which means suppose if the issue happens, we are in the situation to find out where is the issue, either which layer. So we are in the dilemma. That's the reason SAP they have one step go ahead and they have released the R2 architecture, R2 architecture, R2 architecture, R2 architecture. R2 is it's a main on the mainframe product. And also in 1979 they have introduced the this R2 architecture. R2 architecture means it's a two-tier architecture. Means presentation layer is in the one server and application and the DB layer on the one server. Application and the DB layer on the one server. Which means if I talk about the diagram, sorry, something is happening today. Got disconnected. Yeah. So R2 architecture. So which means R1 means all these three layers in the one box. Here, so first layer in the one box, and so remaining two are in the so another box. Box means another server. So this is the our presentation layer means SAP GUI, SAP GUI, or we will call it as the presentation layer. So remaining application server and DB layer both are combined here in the R2 architecture. So this is the one, this is the two. So R1, R2 architecture. So they have just separated the presentation layer from the. So in R1 they are separated. That's why they call it as the R2 architecture. R2 architecture. In this R2 architecture, presentation layer is the one server, while application and DB is running on the present on the another server. So this is actually mainframe solution, IBM mainframe solution. That time IBM mainframe is the most important software for the all the banking sector and everywhere, right? So this was linked actually, that mainframe application they have linked actually in the 1979 actually. Okay. Then after some time, after some years, they have this is the two tier. This is the two tier R1 and R2 tier. Then after that, they have released the R3 architecture. Just history I am telling. It's not like that. Definitely you need to remember. If it would be great if you remember all these things. Why? Because we are learning SAP. We should know when it was founded in SAP. Then what is the years? Latest year, and first revolution architecture is the RF, then R1, R2, R3, then now successful version is the R3 architecture. So what do you mean by successful architecture? So which means it's kind of client server architecture. So it's a distributed architecture. In 1992, they have introduced the R3 architecture, and many modules they have introduced. Many modules means so HR modules, then finance modules, right? HR module and finance modules and MM. So covering the all enterprises, they have released the modules in R3. They have changed it to the R3 and they have released the modules as well. HR, finance, all these modules they have released. So they have changed their architecture to the client server architecture. Client server architecture. So which means so when they change it to the client server architecture, so how it will be the client server architecture. So they have first one box in all three layers. Now one box in the presentation layer, then application layer and DB layer. Database also they have separated. Depends upon the business scenario, they have separated the DB as well. So this is the presentation layer, right? So this is the application layer. So this is the DB layer, right? Like that they have separated it. Layer means three-tier architecture. This is the successful version of the three-tier architecture. Why I mean successful means from that time onwards, still we are using this architecture from 1992 onwards. So when they have introduced the SAP R3 and successful some three modules they have introduced, finance, HR. So these are the SAP modules they have introduced in the 1992. They have introduced. So that's why the three-tier architecture, which means so here presentation, application, and database. Presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. So which means it's just like client server architecture. Whenever you request, first application will take it, application will process your business logic, then so whenever you request, the first presentation layer will send to the application layer, then application will send the request to the database layer, then the application will process your business logic and send database to the store the data or retrieve the data, then give the response back to the application, then application will send back to the your user. That is called the so client server architecture. So they have separated the application, they have separated presentation, they have separated, then DB also they have separated. That's why we will call it as this is the successful architecture. This is a why thing everything they are separated. So the SAP is now R3 architecture, three-layer architecture, R3 architecture, right? So SAP is the three-tier architecture. Okay. So now let's talk about the some R3 versions. Some R3 versions. It's not mandated to remember, but as I told you, right, it would be great, it would be good to so know some versions of the so SAP. So why? Because we are discussing about we are the first one, so we should know what happened. So what is the current version when they have released it in 1972? The first product they have released it, right? So like that. So if we start discussing, that would be great actually, right? First product in layer one, that is they have discussed about the RF. So real time financing server. Financing server they have released in the 1972. They have discussed, right? Then R2 SAP R2 they have released it. It's based on the mainframe systems. That is called in the 1979, which we discussed about 1972. Then after that, so in 1992, the R3 architecture they have released it. So SAP R3 architecture in 1979 to 1972. Yes, right. So 1970 or 70, not 70, right? 1992. Yes, I can remember easily. Yes, SAP. So 1992, they have released the R3 architecture. So on, they have started releasing the all these things like in R3 only. So they have in R3 only, they have started like 3.0, 2.0, 4.7, 4.6, 4.7 EE. So like that, they are releasing the versions. So those are releasing the versions. So up to that one, then SAP R3 4.7e. SAP 4.7, that is the last version. In 2003 they have released this 4.7. so in between we have 4.6, 4.5, 4.7, but it's not required to discuss about those things. Just you can skip it out, the main things you can remember. Then after that they have released they have renamed it to the SAP ECC. They have renamed it to the SAP ECC. So 5.0 they have released it. Then after that SAP ECC 6.0, like that they have released it. 5.0 and 6.0 they have released it. From here onwards, so very important to discuss SAP ERP versions that they have released in the 2004, year of the 2004, that ERP. So then after that, so SAP ECC 6.0 they have released it. SAP ECC 6.0 in 2005 October they have released these versions. So ECC 6.0. So first they have R1. They have their product name is R1, R2, R3, like that. They have started changing their versions and everything. Now later, instead of R, they mentioned as the ECC, means enterprise core component. Every organization, so this ECC is the critical component. Every organization ECC is the critical component, and we should ECC is required for the, it's a mandatory for the each and every organization. ECC is the first product, it's mandatory. That's why they have maintained as enterprise core component. Every organization, this ECC product is the core component. Now also it's a very important. ECC is a very critical system, transactional system, right? Then after that, ECC 5.0, 6.0 they have released it. Then after that, they have not released the 7.0, but they have just on top of ECC 6.0, they have changed it to the EHP1. Then after top of the ECC 6.0, they have changed it to the EHP2. Then ECC EHP3, ECC 6.0, ECC EHP3. Like that, they have started changing their versions and everything. Every year, one new enhancement package started releasing it. So they have. So like that. So let me write down all these things here. 8. 8 is the stopped it here. They have stopped it here. SAP ECC 6.0, they have stopped it here. So if I talk about the versions, so 2004 5.0, 2006 6.0, and the next one is called the 2006, right? 2006, the year, every year. Then 2007, this is the 2007th year, they have released it. Then 2008, then EHP3 they have released it. 2008 they have released it. So it like that. So they have started releasing the, so 9, 10, 11, 12. So like that they have started so releasing it. So in EHP 6 2007. So then EHP8, I like that. Every year they have started, they are releasing the EHP8 version. They have started so releasing the EHP8. EHP8 is the so last version, last enhancement. ECC means enterprise core component. EHP is enhancement packages. So they are not just changing the version to 6.0 to 7.0, 8.0. Just on top of ECC, they have started releasing the enhancement packages. Just packages, you no need to download entire software. Just EHP version you can download, then you can install on top of the on base version of the ECC 6.0. You can install it. So like that they have started. So see how their history version, the versions of their products. So from R1 RF2, then ECC 6.0 EHP8, how they have started releasing it, So then after that they have not stopped. Then again they have changed their one version, they have changed their new user experience, then they have changed their product to S4 HANA, S4 HANA, S4 HANA Business Suite for HANA databases. This was they have released in the 2005, 2000, not 5, 2015 February in the Feb. So they have started releasing the S4 HANA, S4 HANA version. Means so they have still customers are using the EHP 8, but so they can also new customers they are directly using the S4 HANA. So R3 architecture. This R3 is the three-tier architecture. It's the third generation business suite. It's the third generation. Then instead of ECC, they have changed how they have changed the version from R1 to R3, R3 to ECC. Then after that, S4 HANA. Same ECC product only. They have changed their versions to they have renamed it to the S4 HANA. It's like fourth generation business suite. Fourth generation business suite, fourth generation business suite. So it's dedicated to run only on the HANA databases as we speak. So it's dedicated to run only on the HANA databases only, right? So let's talk about the few versions about where we are currently in the S4 HANA, where we are. So in the S4 HANA. So S4 HANA, they have started. Then they have started implementing the S4 HANA. So the first financial system is like 1503. Yes, right. Then after that, S4 HANA first financial system in the March 2015 March. So they have, see here the version 2015-03 is the March. So like that, they have simple naming convention, they have put it like here. Then 1511 is the 2015 in the 11th month, they have released the S4 HANA. So then after that, so 1610, then after that S4 HANA, only S4 HANA related I'm talking about here. Then 1610, then S4 HANA 1709, then S4 HANA, then 1808, 1808, 1808. So 1808, not 8, ninth month. Here they have changed it actually. It should be released to the 2088 month, but they have delayed and they have released it in the ninth month. That's why 1809. So then S4 HANA, then 1909 version. Then S4 HANA, S4 HANA, so 20. So S4 HANA 2002. Then S4 HANA, then we have 2020, no 2021. That's right. S4 HANA 2022. Yes, these are the versions as of now. Year wise, they have started releasing it. So previously, year and month, 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 year and month. So now they have started. Now they have changed their strategy to putting the naming convention like just year 2021, 2022, and 2002 like that. They have started releasing it here. Okay, so these are the versions of the S4 HANA versions. How they have released the S4 HANA versions means, so after first R1, so let me, if I draw one diagram here, the first R1, right? First R1, R1 architecture, right? Then after that, they have changed it to the R2 architecture, R2 architecture, R1 and R2 architecture. Then after that, R3 architecture. After that, R3 architecture. This is the R3 architecture. Means ECC also will come under this picture only. ECC also will in the same picture, R3 architecture only. R1, R2, R3. So R3 means after the sometime they have changed it to the ECC 5.0, 6.0, they have changed it. Now, so it's like S4 architecture. It's a simplified fourth generation business suite. Means some new user experience they have changed it. New user experience they have changed it. This is called the S4 architecture. S4 means simplified business, fourth generation business suite, which means dedicated to run only on the HANA database. So this is the, see here, their journey, they have started in the R1, then slowly they have, so see here how they have increased their product and their shares in the market. So everything they have changed now, new user experience. So every customer, every business, so the people are started using the SAP system. Why? Because the license wise are, so license wise are, and the license cost, infra and maintenance easily. It simply say the code can be easily adaptable. We can easily change the code based upon our requirement. We can easily change the code. Easily, we can change the code. The code it's written in the C++ language in the SAP. The code is written in the C++ language. Easily, they can change it. So, if I talk about, okay, before I go ahead and talk about the team structure here. So, anyone, any concerns here, any doubts as of now? Still we have not gone to, so reach to the main topics here, just discussing about the some introduction topics about the SAP. Okay, so don't worry about these versions, how can I remember, sir, all these means based upon the, based upon the, you are listening the classes experience, you will get the all these versions. At least you can remember last two versions or three versions, you should remember in the S4 or 2, then ECC, this ECC 5.0, 6.0, at least you have to remember these, all these things. Why? Because tomorrow if someone asks you, one of your friend or someone, can you explain about the SAP? So when it was founded, who founded, how is product, 5X service, German IBM people, they have founded, they have released this SAP. SAP is the one of the ERP product, is one of the most popular ERP product here. Okay, so yeah, anyone, any questions here?
Yeah, no, Ravi.
Okay, thank you. So coming to the modules, SAP modules. So SAP is not, as I every time I will tell you, right? SAP is just not in one word actually. SAP ECC, SAP consists of multiple modules as well. Multiple function modules. That's we will call it as the multiple function modules here. So the first module is called the FI, financing. So finance accounting related, then controlling and SD, sales and distribution, then MM, material management, and PP, production planning, then QM, quality management. So then plant maintenance, then CS. CS means, so computer, some computer services related, then project, SAP PS project services. So then HCM, most popular model, human capital management model. So all these 10 functional modules. So SAP, as we mentioned, SAP ECC, SAP ECC, SAP ECC is the, after the 4.7, they have started releasing the 5.0 and 6.0. ECC means it's a core components. So core components means the finance business, the controlling, sales business, material business, anything, all this business is comprised into one ECC component, ECC server. If you install the ECC, so you can use the business of the FICO, SDMM, all business you can install. So within ECC systems, these all modules are integrated with each other. How integrated means it's a tightly integrated with each other, which means each module that makes the business data flow between the multiple businesses. So means within this model, the business flow happens within this business. So yeah, so each modules like finance, controlling, APA, many modules are there. So but most used modules are the, these are the finance FICO. But each module there is a one team. There is a finance team. There is like a FICO. There is the finance module FICO team, CO team, SD team, MM team, PP team, each functional module team available. But so we are the one team. If I talk about the team structure, our role is the basis role here. Our role is the basis role here. Our role is so SAP basis consultant, which means we are the administrators. We are the administrator for all SAP servers. That's why I mentioned in top. Okay, so then with us we have so developers. With us we have so developers. Developers means so definitely the developers required here. Why? Because they want to change the code easily adaptable that we discussed, right? Developers. The team is called the SAP above team. Then functional team. Functional team means so these are the FI functional team, CO, SD team. So these are the functional teams. They will write the what their work is. They will write the business scenarios and business scenarios and everything. They will write it. So they will play the key role actually. For business wise, they will play the key role. But we are the main here. Why? Because the system is down, they cannot access, right? So that's why we are the main. Then security, we are the security people. Structure actually. That's so we have developers, functional models, security, and end users who will mainly work on the end users. So users, they will same system within the same system, each one server in the same SAP. So we will also work in the system. Developers, they will write the code. Functional team, they will develop the functional scenarios and everything. So security team, they will control the roles and author responsibilities of the each and every module and users. So with us in one system, they are working. If the system goes down, system performance down, system building, all activities, so basis person has to perform here. Basis consultant is the main role here. Why? Because in starting of the phase onwards, system builds, system installations, all these activities will be performed by the SAP basis person only. Okay, SAP basis person only has to install it. Right? This is the so responsibility of the team structure like this. So, and also if I talk about the list of products, I will not take more than minutes. So just I will explain the products and I will end for today. Okay. So just I will explain the list of SAP products. What are the products we have? So suppose if I talk about products means when you go to the Unilever products, Unilever has the multiple products, right? Chocolates, biscuits, maybe so like we have the other things also. Same as like SAP, as I mentioned, always I will mention SAP is not just simple one word. It has many functionalities, many business softwares it is providing, right? So as far as I know, I will talk about the few of the SAP so products. We are the SAP products here. So those are called the SAP so SAP products. SAP so products. Those are the SAP product. SAP so GRC, SAP PO, SAP Finance, SAP Finance. Then finance means FICO. SAP FICO. Then SAP BPC models. Then SAP. So we have HCM. We call that as HCM. Then SAP ERP that we will use the all our ECC systems and everything are the ERP systems. So it will come under the ERP, right? So HCM, human capital management, BPC, business process consolidations, FICO, and PO. And PO also comes under here only GRC. So the GRC, governance, risk management. Then SAP HANA also database. SAP HANA also SAP product only. Then what we have? So ECC enterprise core components. Just writing one more thing. So here, then success factors. So we have the SF success factors. This all are the many are there. Not only one thing here. Many are there. EP, SAP enterprise portal. Then SAP EP enterprise portals. Then SAP PO, XI, APO I mentioned right this time. Then so what left we have? Yeah, SAP. So SAC cloud, SAP analytics integration. Then SAC that is we will call it as the SAC. Then C4C. So these all are the ADP. This all are the ADP means. So advanced data migration software. Then SAC. Then we have BW. BW also is the main system. After ECC, BW is the main system. So right, Lumira and SAP Lumira. Lumira also SAP product only. So and what we have. So if I talk about, yes, SAP Web Intelligence Business One, SAP Business, SAP Business One client, then SAP Car. So SAP Car, SAP SFIN, SAP S4 HANA, SAP Fiori. So SAP, then what next? So Bex, Bex analyzers, then SAP Vivo. So what we have? Lumira we mentioned, I mentioned. So if I think about the cloud connector, so C4C, cloud for a customizer customer, and what we have? S4 we mentioned, Anna we mentioned, PP, plant maintenance, production planning, and these all are the products only. So training management, lesson MDM, MDZ, as it's like kind of, so many are there in SAP products, many are there, etc. It's not possible to remember all, but so these are the few are the most used, like MDZ, Bex, Fiori, S4, SPIN, so car, so and Lumira, BW, SAT, EP, ECC, HANA, ERP, ECC, EO. These all are the most frequently used products by SAP. These all are related to the SAP products only. All are SAP products only. Depends upon the your business need. You have to use these softwares. Business upon the need. You have to use these softwares, these products. You have to use it. Okay, these are about the products, SAP products. Here we will discuss about the ECC, S4 and NetWeaver systems also we will install it, right? So some Java systems and everything. This is about the team structure, list of products and the versions of the SAP that we discussed, right? These are the agenda for today. I will not take much time for a test today also. So I will close it now. Any questions from anyone? So if I have a few minutes, if I talk about the Telugu, so please excuse me for other guys. But because here few are the Telugu guys are there, I will just speak it up the Telugu. So yeah, ఈ రోజు క్లాస్లో మనం ఏం చెప్పుకున్నాం అంటే టీమ్ స్ట్రక్చర్ గురించి, మనకి ఏ టీమ్స్ ఉంటాయి అనే దాని గురించి చెప్పుకున్నాం. ఎందుకంటే మనం వీళ్ళతో వర్క్ చేస్తాము, మనమే మనం మెయిన్ ఇక్కడ యాక్చువల్గా అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్ అనమాట. మన ఎస్ఏపి ప్రొడక్ట్స్ గురించి చెప్పుకున్నాం. ఇవి ఎస్ఏపి ప్రొడక్ట్స్. ఇవే ఉన్నాయా సార్ అంటే ఇంక చాలా ఉంటాయి. అవి లిస్ట్ చేయాలంటే ఒక పేజీ కూడా సరిపోద్దు, చాలా ఉంటాయి ఎస్ఏపి ప్రొడక్ట్లు. బట్ దీస్ ఏంటంటే సో మెయిన్ కాంపోనెంట్స్ అనమాట, మెయిన్ ప్రొడక్ట్స్ అనమాట, విచ్ ఎవ్రీ బిజినెస్ దే విల్ యూజ్ ఇట్. సో దెన్ మాడ్యూల్స్, ఫంక్షనల్ మాడ్యూల్స్ వల్ల ఎవరెవరు ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళు ఫంక్షనల్ టీమ్ రైట్ చేస్తుంటారు. దెన్ ఎస్ఏపి ఆర్కిటెక్చర్ ఏంటి, సో ఎస్ఏపి 3 లేయర్ ఆర్కిటెక్చర్. ఇనిషియల్లో ఏ లేయర్ లో ఉంది, తర్వాతకి R2కి వచ్చింది, తర్వాతకి R3కి వెళ్ళింది, తర్వాతకి ఈసీసీ అన్నారు, తర్వాతకి S4 అన్నారు. ఇక రేపు ఏదంటారో నాకు కూడా తెలియదు. సో అది పరిస్థితి. S4 అన్నారు, తర్వాతకి P5 అంటారు, తర్వాతకి P6 అంటారు, ఏ పేరు పెడతారో నాకు కూడా తెలియదు. బట్ యాజ్ ఆఫ్ నో S4 4th జనరేషన్ బిజినెస్. నెక్స్ట్ 5G వస్తే 5th జనరేషన్ బిజినెస్. 5G ఆల్రెడీ వచ్చింది, 5th జనరేషన్ అంటారు. దీస్ ఆర్ ద జస్ట్ వర్షన్. It's very important to remember, but no one going to ask you questions like in which year they have released the product, something like that. But better if you remember the just versions as well. Okay, that's it. Any questions? That's it for today. Any questions from anyone?
Ravi, they will ask any interview point of versions.
No, they won't ask you anything. But if someone asks you, maybe your friend or someone asks you, can you explain about some history of the SAP, when it was founded in 1972, 5 ex-service IBM people, so they have founded the SAP. Just one line sentence you can remember.
S4 HANA only supports database S4 HANA.
Database? I didn't get it.
So only means SAP S4 HANA only support HANA database.
Yes. For HANA, that's why they have mentioned like S4 HANA. Well, because S4 HANA product they have, so it's HANA database is the SAP product only. So if they started using, other customers started using the SQL and Oracle, then their revenue will be down, right? So that's the reason. Let me stop the recording.